All right, good evening, everybody. We are going to start the Forestville Town Annual Meeting. It's going to be held on, which is today, Tuesday, April 16th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Forestville Town Hall. Can I get a roll call?
Kevin Gillett,
Here.
Yeah.
Larry Huber,
Here.
Jason Klahach,
Here.
Dina Schmidt here,
Yeah.
and then Teresa Klahach here. And then we have our annual meeting, so we also have Ellen, how do you pronounce your last name? Levenhagen here, and Mark Kulinski, okay, Gary Vandertye, Chuck Sly, and Leland Nelson.
All right, thank you. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have verification of public notice.
It was posted at the town hall, it was posted on the website, and it was posted in the clerk's office.
Okay, thank you. Clerk's meeting from April 18th, 2023 annual meeting.
Let's see, do you have copies for everybody?
Everybody has their copy?
Yeah, okay.
Did you want me to read the minutes, or everybody's just gonna read them?
I think-
Yeah, okay.
Well, that was nice. I make a motion to accept the minutes.
That's the All right, I have a motion on the table from Jason to accept the minutes as presented, and a second by Larry. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. Annual report review by clerk.
As you can see in front of us, it's our annual financial report. At the beginning, it shows our revenue, our total, our cash, our total revenue for 2023 and monies collected. So our total is 1.6 million, 1,671,635. Then our next line is the total, the town expenditures, payment of money collected from others, our cash on hand, our ARPA fund. So that balances to our revenue, so $1,671,635. So if we start on the left-hand side of the column, you can see what our town revenues are. You can see our property taxes, our Southern levy, our tax roll of our woodland collections, our dog license collections. So that total is 217,000 about. Then we go on to our intergovernmental revenue. So you can see our elections, our aid, our shared revenues, our fire dues, our highway aids. So that total is 179,447. Next, we go on to our revenue of licenses and permits. So we have our tourism tax. We have some, a little bit of revenue from our liquor and beer and operator licenses, and then our building permits. That's right around 7,237. Then if you go, next category is our public charges for services. So our garbage collection and our license publication fees and our private work. Then our miscellaneous is our Door County Community Fund, our interest, Southern Fire Department boat that they sold, the town hall rent that we receive when people rent the town hall, and our recycling rebate. That total is $22,563. It shows our total revenues of $523,843.14. Then next we go into our general governmental salaries. You can see our salaries, per diem, the meals, the postage, the broadband, so our total government is 26,485. Then our broadband total is 4,148.81. Then if you go up to the right-hand side of your paper, we still continue on with general administration, the salaries for the clerk, the poll worker expenses, the security cabinet, meetings, postage supplies, legal aids. That total is 22,711.36. Then if you go to the finance administration, we have salaries in our postage, our collection services, and our associated appraisal, what they charge us for our appraisals. So that total is 17,426.56. Then we have our general building for the town halls. We have our water and our sewer, our utilities, our grass cutting projects, supplies, repairs. That total is $36,042.65. Next, if you go to our other general government, that's our legal fees, building permit inspections, our insurance, our curbside pickup, that's $104,064.94. So public safety, this is the Southern Door Fire Department levy that we paid, the 2% fire dues, animal welfare, street lighting, so that's $66,250.03. Public works, so we have administration expenses, snow control, surface maintenance, traffic control of the signs, brush and tree removal, culverts, road inspections. That's $255,695.39. Then we go into our education, recreational, and culture. So that's for our website, our computer library. That's $4,137. Turn over. So we got our summary of our collections. We got the levy. So as you can see, we balance of the $993,215. And then we have our ARPA fund balance and our money market and our checking account for a total of $753,832. So the balance of our accounts on 1/1 includes advanced tax collection is $754,064.48. Total receipts plus the December advanced taxes minus the 22 advanced taxes is $536,730.70 for a total of $1,290,795.18. Then you can see it balances on the accounts as of 12/31 of the $753,832.24. So the Southern Door escrow has $130,000 in, so our total of our town accounts is $884,445.19. And then you can see this is our cemetery fund, so we have a balance in there of $14,217.63. Then you can see our receipts that we got from the cemetery. The land rent for 2023 was $1,095. We have our interest on our accounts. Lot sales and perpetual care was $1,500. So our total receipts was $2,624.71. Then we had disbursements of maintenance, tree removal, cemetery lawn care, cemetery SEP and medical. So our total expenses were $2,708.69. So the balance of our cemetery account at the end of December was $14,133.65. So then you can see the summary of the savings accounts and the checking. So we balanced the $14,133.65. Is there any questions about the annual report?
The only comment I would make would be that we're authorized to take and close out that separate account for the cemetery.
Okay,
And it will be accounted for in the same way, but it'll be in our general funds
okay.
account.
For next year.
For next year.
For 2024, okay.
And that was something we got guidance on from the Towns Association.
Okay,
I don't think we did that until this year, though. We did that at the beginning of this year.
okay,
Correct.
okay. Anybody have any other questions?
All right, hearing none, do we Make a motion to accept this?
Well, I guess so.
Well, I'll make a motion to accept it as read.
I'll second that.
All right, Kevin Gillett has made a motion to accept the clerk's report as read, and Larry has seconded it. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. All right, chairman's comments. Well, we have 1 year under our belt, and it's been a busy one. Here are some of the things this town board has worked on and we're able to get done for you as a community. First, we finished the fire department separation with Nassawampie. Chief Olson has said everything is going very well, and it has been wonderful going to work as of now since the separation. It was a bit of a challenge while all that was going on, to say the least. He said the men are working very well together. The budget is going well together, so I think everything has turned out as well as we could expect for everything that took place there. And with Nassawampie leaving, the calls went down and everything seems to be working out very well. So hats off to everybody involved in getting that all taken care of and done. Number two, we have opened all of the town roads to UTV and ATV traffic. That would be the town roads only, not the county roads. We were able to get that taken care of and done, actually based off of a request from one of the residents last year's annual meeting. Number three, the town hall siding has been completed this past year, which was actually signed the year before, but could not get the product. Can't put product on if we don't have it, therefore it fell into this year. We also added new signage to the building, lights, and a notice case. As you drive by and see it, I think this building is in pretty good shape for quite some time to move forward.
You also proved that, didn't you?
I think that was the year before.
No, that was last
No,
year.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's our lockbox for our voting machine. And that was a requirement by the Wisconsin
Yeah.
Elections Commission, but they also paid grant money to have that put right.
So, another good thing. We also received a grant from Destination Door County, which is from our room taxes. We use it to install new sidewalks in the Lions Club Pavilion, added topsoil and grass around it, and the sidewalks and the town hall, so everything pitches away, to stop any trip hazards, because it was not really safe by any stretch of the imagination. There was even some kids that have fallen and gotten hurt. We also added bark to the playground areas for safety reasons as well. So we utilized the grant the best we could, and we put it back in here because I believe, I don't know if everybody drives by here, but it's quite amazing how many people actually stop and come and use this building and play on the playground, and that's what this thing is for. That's what we should be doing. On the inside, we had to do some maintenance. We resealed the town hall floors, which was badly needed. And we updated an extremely old refrigerator that, I don't know, that thing must have came across with Columbus at some point, but it was definitely time, and that part is done. We also, since we did all of the improvements here in updating, we asked the American Legion to repaint the flag box for us, and they did. They also put in a copy machine for us to use at the town hall when needed. And we thank you guys very much, to anybody who was involved in taking care of that for us. We have had several missing road signs, and we replaced them this year. Now, that obviously wasn't over a 1 year period, it was an extended period of time. But we had an inventory done and we replaced all of them that we were aware of at that point in time. So I think, we can keep up on that a little bit, and I don't know, maybe glue them down and the kids don't take them as much, or God knows where they seem to walk off to, but hopefully we can not have to deal with that so much. we were able to replace, Old Elm Road, from County O to Highway 42, which was badly needed. And I think this township does a very good job as far as keeping our roads up, and I realize people might be living in certain areas where a road isn't, we would love to replace it, but we only have a very limited budget, as you can see here, and what the cost of replacing some of these are. We wanna stay on the roads that are being used as much as possible, and that's kinda how we dictate where we're going, with the funds to take care of those things. But as far as the township goes, I believe we do a very good job. And if not, you can cross the county line over there and you'll see for yourself. That'd be a really, eye-awakening experience. We are also moving on the high-speed internet for the township. And, waiting to hear for grant notices to see where this thing goes. And the next item, on a sad note, we have accepted the resignation of our beloved town clerk of 41 years, Ruth Kirscher, due to family health reasons. But we have been blessed with a newly appointed town clerk, Teresa Clawhotch, to fill the term out so we don't miss a beat. Thank you very much, Teresa. You are doing a wonderful job. With that all said, we must make some changes to how things have been running in the past and how keys are picked up, mailing addresses, etc. All of these items have to be relooked at simply because Ruth was right there and she was there for 41 years and people would go on there on Sundays and Saturdays. Well, that just it's just not feasible, right? So, those are some of the things we're gonna look at doing and seeing what we can do to keep business open for everybody and make things run as smooth as we possibly can. So we're in the middle of the process of that right now, so please be patient with us as we work this all out. So in closing, I think we had a wonderful year, and I'm honored to serve as your chairman. Thank you. All right, item number 7, citizens' input and questions. Does anybody have one? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Little Nelson. First of all, I'd like to compliment you guys, this board, as far as the garbage system. Being on a retired under a fixed income and everything, the little amount that is added on my taxes is well worth it. That it's really working real great. I really love it. I just want to compliment you on that and try to keep it going as much as you can. I realize you gotta watch for costs and stuff and you gotta watch it, but hats off to you on that. The only other question I have under the broadband is, I agree we need high-speed broadband. I've got US Cellular by my place, but it's always dropping out on me and I gotta reboot and all this stuff and that. My question is, with us taxpayers adding to the installation, what is the return to us taxpayers? Do you have controls on how much they can charge, or, because you can put in a system, but if they're gonna charge, I only pay $75 for my internet and one phone. Am I gonna have to pay $300 now for that, or what is there some sort? What is the kind of deal is that? What's the benefit for us?
Yeah, so what was happening is they had different tiers based off of specific speeds. And for any service that you get compared to what you have now, when we're talking the high speed is like day and night, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So, just so you know, that lower tier was not gonna be much more expensive than what you were talking about. It'd even be less, so, yeah.
But if you what you're asking, your total question you really are is asking is overall cost.
Right.
Including what we would need to borrow for that 20-year period to get it in. There will be depending on whether or not we get funded by the federal government. So what happens here is that the base entry level is gonna be about $49 to $50 in that neighborhood. Monthly use, if you choose to go into it. We'll have to amortize that monies that we would borrow, but we passed a resolution that said it would not exceed a fixed amount, which the broadband committee went through. Now, this is a private, public funded agreement that we will have with Brightspeed. And this, in order to get federal funding through the state, the Public Service Commission, the more that we contribute toward that, and in this case, whatever we put in as a town, the ISP will put in a matching amount. And then we're going to ask for the federal government to supply us the other half that we would need to do the installation. So in essence, to put this in, yes, we'd have to borrow money, but we'd be only paying 25% of the overall project cost, which is in the neighborhood of $4 million. And we said that we would contribute no more than $866,668 or something like that. So the intent there was to make this as attractive as possible to this Public Service Commission so that they would then, through this broadband equity access and deployment funding, the BEAD funding, which is just coming out today or yesterday, we hopefully will be able to be funded, but we would never spend more than that fixed amount. And that would be amortized over a 20-year period through the public finance program, but we won't borrow that money until it's necessary. And it might be a year from now, 2 years from now. Hopefully, interest rates come down. So to give you a fixed figure is almost impossible because we don't know what the interest rates are.
I think what I'm getting at
Is a monthly cost.
is my monthly cost,
Yes.
okay?
Okay.
I'm paying 75 and I know it's a bad service. I'm willing to go maybe up to 150 a month to make sure I got solid service, I've got everything that I
So they
want,
were-
because it makes it more beneficial.
The base level is gonna be 100 gigabytes up and down, asymmetric. All the time.
Downloading, so it's gonna be extremely fast, way
Oh,
better than
yeah.
what you have, and about 40 to 50 bucks.
Yeah.
And I believe they were saying we would hold those numbers for what, a year or 2 years?
3 years is what, it depends on our contract. The first 3 years will be fixed.
Okay,
Beyond that, the Public Service Commission then,
they gotta go to the.
right, it's no
approval
different than your
rate,
electric
like any other
rates.
utility.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, that's what I was concerned that we're just not putting this in and they got free reign to go whatever price they wanna, fill their pockets with, I guess is
No.
what the thing is.
It's like a
From what I'm
utility.
hearing, it sounds like it's gonna be a good deal.
It is, and I just did a couple talking points and I just typed a couple things up and I'm sure there's more. And since this is the annual meeting, it's probably where we should be talking about it anyway. The surveys that were returned were in favor of it, okay?
Mhm.
So that helped spark what part of our decisions on what was going on. But I think what really happened here for this board was you had a year plus investigating this matter to show that this township is way underserved or unserved for internet service, okay? That's an actual fact now, so that has been proven easily. And anyone with kids in the school can tell you that during COVID, even when the school gave them a booster, you couldn't get on the class, you couldn't stay, it was useless. You might as well have gone outside and yelled because you couldn't do anything. The internet it is no good here. Now, I understand that if you're a little bit closer to Forestville and maybe closer to that hub, you got better reception. Well, I'm only maybe a mile and a quarter out. It's horrible.
Mhm.
And I have tried other things just like you have, several of them. Some you can't come or you're too far away. It's just, it's crazy. It's just 100% what you said. Yes, I'm paying X amount of dollars for something that is absolutely horrible. But what am I gonna do? I don't have any other option. You know, so we felt that this was an extremely important thing to have. The cost that was presented to us was a very good price for the service that the township was going to receive. Brightspeed is paying 25%. We are looking to invest 25% of the cost to possibly receive 50% of your tax money in a grant, right? It's our federal tax dollars are giving us anyway. So if we don't apply for this federal tax dollars that we've paid, it's just gonna go to internet somewhere else other than Forestville. So we're just giving it away, which I don't think we can do. So if we didn't pass this and we choose to do it later, we're paying 100% of it. There's no way this township could ever afford to pay $4 million for that. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's not, you know, feasibly a good value for us to do that. So this was the best way. This is also going to increase the property values of our town and attract more young families who work from internet. I mean, we build homes for a living. We have several clients who literally work out of their house. They have to have the internet to do this. You can't do it in any other way. And it's just becoming more and more to the point of it's basically a necessity, just like lights and heat and whatever else. So I think this was our best option as far as moving forward. If we can get 50% of that paid, and Brightspeed or the company is looking to invest another 25%, you know, I've heard comments from other townships, not ours. Well, why shouldn't the company pay for that? Well, it's, I own several businesses, it's simple. Why would I invest $4 million if I can't get you all to hook up to it? I'm not gonna make a $4 million investment and have 20% of it, it's never gonna pay itself off, right? So that's why they didn't come. But now if the federal government is looking to take your tax dollars and give them half of it or some of it, and the townships are willing to kick in, well, now it's more feasible, plus you're gonna do a much better percentage of people wanting to hook up. Now it's feasible for them. I mean, it's just economics, it's just what it is, that's business, unfortunately.
One other thing, I sat in on a lot of these broadband meetings with Brussels Union Gardner, that ad hoc committee that met for over a year. The initial proposals, and there were 7 or 8 various ISPs that were considered and requested, you know, are you interested? Will you give us send a request for proposals? The Brightspeed came in 50% under everybody else that was there. And the reason was they are the incumbent carrier. In other words, they bought out Forestville or the CenturyLink telephone company. So they have the right of way, they have the locations, they've done the engineering for the poles. That is money that would not have to be spent by anyone else. They've already got it. So were able to bring in, for the 4 towns, it was a $30,000 program. They came in at 15,000. So it was half what would have been any other carrier. For our share of it, it was just a little under $4 million. So having investigated all of that and gone through that work, and I really have to thank Roy Engelbert for having taken the lead on that. He went to every one of those meetings and asked tough questions of all of these people. We made the decision as a board to go ahead with it prior to the other towns choosing to go with a referendum. And we just felt that it was in the best interest of the town based on expresses. So just added information.
Right, just to fill everybody in on why we did what we did. You know, it wasn't just, well, let's Yahoo. No, that's really not, this board really don't work like that.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the process that you guys went through to do that.
Yes.
I'm just curious about what the next steps are at this point with the service provider. And is it gonna be, are they gonna be going underground? Are they gonna be going on poles? What's the order of operations for them? Are they gonna be starting with more populated areas, or how's that all gonna work?
First of all, CenturyLink and prior to Brightspeed buying them out, had installed some new fiber in the town. So you've seen these newer green boxes that have been put in recently. That's higher quality fiber than what was originally put into the town. Most of the town is wired with copper, and that's where your DSL service comes from. So the goal here was to go in with fiber in ground where possible. If not possible, because of rock and additional work that would be necessary, they would go and lash it to aerial poles. But they have the right of way, and they are doing that now to deliver the services. So there's a lot of fiber in the ground they can use, but there is some fiber in the ground that they are going to abandon because it's not up to today's standard. So we signed a working agreement to pursue this process with Brightspeed as our service provider. The next step in this process is to go through this BEAD process, broadband equity access and deployment. The state then will go through this. It's a very involved process, and we're working with the county's broadband coordinator for that. What will happen there is we will have to come to terms with making a contract. And this contract will spell out the steps and also the safeguards that we want to have put in place. So that if they're going to be going underground through the right of way, we also do underground and above ground manure lines in the town to support the agricultural industry. Therefore, we already have permits, we have right of way ordinance, but that's something that's just coming to the surface this last month. So we're gonna have to revisit our ordinances with regard to right of way and what goes on in that right of way. Once we have that in place, a contract, if you will, to work, federal funding then is going to be applied for, and the ISP will write the grant request with the federal government. That has to be all done by the end of this calendar year. Then it'll be the early part of 2025 before any awards are made from Public Service Commission and money starts to be dedicated to the process. That may not be until a little late in 2025 or early 2026. Once the process starts, what has happened in other municipalities is they're in there and they're putting in their backbone, as much of it as they can get in the ground, the copper that they already have, I mean, the copper path, but they then have put in fiber. We have about 400, how many residents? 400 and some on the garbage
I
collection
think
trash.
462.
462,
Yeah.
but we have over 600 E911 locations. Now, an E911 location is the new standard that we want to make sure we have access at every one of those E911 locations. So therefore, there will be an access point put in. It may look like there's nothing there, but it's probably buildable property. It could be a farm operation. It could be any number of things, business existing operations. So we wanted to make sure that a part of this process included every E911 location within the town of Forestville. And yet the costs are reasonable to do it that way. By providing that for the E911 locations, that also works to our advantage with the Public Service Commission to get funding. So it's a pretty involved thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we answered your question
Well, it does,
100%.
because
but-
you're looking at a 2 or 3 year timeline
Yes.
before anybody ever gets. So
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
And that's.
And I just read, I forget which town, but they're working with their residents and people they go so far off the road, because a lot of people have places that are off the roadways. So the first 300 feet, I read in this article today, is paid for by the ISP, and then there's a fee to go that additional distance. If you don't have to sign up for the service, but you do have to give them right to bring that service to the facility that exists. So they're looking for access permits. So there's a lots of other issues. You'll see that stuff in the newspaper.
Yeah,
Probably
it's a
more
long
than you needed
process,
to know.
but
No, it's actually, it was good. I was just thinking, so let's say you've got a 20-acre lot, maybe someday in the future you wanted to have, sell that off as a house. Now you've got to have it.
You've got to have an access
911,
point,
yeah,
right?
or not, I mean, maybe it's not, it's just part of your.
Well, that was also part of the investigation.
Yeah.
What is going to happen if there's an addition, a subdivision gets developed
Right,
or other properties?
right.
We want to make sure that they have access to that fiber connection.
Door County as a whole has done a fantastic job as far as investigating and stuff. I think they're actually even using some of that as like the poster child for the rest of the state
Well,
on a lot of,
We
Parts of
have
that.
Jessica Hatch. She's been hired by the county as the broadband coordinator. She's really done a wonderful job. And what's happened is the people who are at the forefront of some of this stuff up north, where there's really the money, that's where they're going first, obviously. But when they have gone through the process, that gets shared by every other municipality within this county. So with someone like that working at the county level, sharing all of the information, but we don't go into this thing saying, well, gee, I think we'll go call a lawyer and see what do we have to do. We've got some guidance and some experience, because other towns are putting this stuff in pell-mell. I mean, Flag Banks decided they were just gonna put it in, period. They just borrowed all the money. They got no grants. They're just doing it. But if you try to get a phone to work or anything else down there in the waterfront on Flag Banks, there is nothing.
So just to make sure I understand, so when we finish this process and whoever it's gonna be the provider, that will be a commitment to go to all the homes, even if it's a very isolated road.
Correct.
correct.
Rather than the gas company puts in a pipeline, goes right by us, and we can't hook up to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
true statement.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things that
That was
was,
a
that's what we
contract.
wanted.
That's gonna be a part of what we're doing. Want to make sure you can get it.
Yeah.
Whether you subscribe or not.
Right.
So that's gonna become a part of what goes on in the next few years here. Gotta give them access to your property so they can bring it as far as they can, hopefully right to your house.
Yeah.
Whether you sign up for the service or not, that's
Right, it'd be
another
just like the
matter.
box sitting on the wall for your phone, right?
Right.
Well, I'm
Which
not
hasn't
using
been
it.
used in 20 years.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It just sits there. But if you wanted to, you could. Anybody else?
If I may,
Yeah.
are we gonna be affected by the fact that Brussels Union and Guard did not, sign in?
Nope.
We're on our own timetable, and we won't be
Correct.
attached to them, we won't be
They're-
penalized by their,
They're basically done. Once they did what they did, I'm sure their boards aren't gonna go and move forward with anything.
okay,
They're dead in the water.
so that won't affect the
Nope.
cost of our,
No,
process
that's,
or
we
anything.
had everything broke down separately because of that exact reason. If anybody was gonna bail,
Any one town
we
would
wanted
leave
each
out.
township to be kind of on its own merit as far as dollars and things of this nature for exactly what you're talking about.
okay,
So that should not affect us from how we were being told.
all right.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, I had CenturyLink originally for internet, hardwire, the copper wire in,
Wasn't that
and I
fun?
know it went through. Now, 2 years ago, they ran a new cable right across on County J, down the road.
Right,
Is that the new fiber?
that's the new fiber.
Okay, so
That's
they're
part
already
of the
got
new fiber.
part of it.
That's part of it. The newest stuff that they put in here the last couple of years can be used.
Okay, so,
It's not designed, to totally cover, blanket the town. It's only certain roads.
yeah,
So that will become a part of the new infrastructure that they're gonna build
Probably some
out.
of the first to be able to hook up because it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what.
Yeah, it's got it right outside my house.
I'm looking.
You just gotta wait.
I just gotta wait for it.
We could look up. All right, anybody else got any other comments or questions you wanna talk about? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item. Any other business to be transacted?
There's only one item that would fall under that category, and that would be disposal of assets. And we've got a situation where Ruth has served for an awful long time. Her computer, the town purchased for her is about 7 or 8 years old. It's not much of a computer. It's an old tower type computer. We have purchased 3 laptops. Gina's got one, you've got one, I've got one for this stuff. And Ruth has no computer. Now, she'd been using that computer strictly for town business. We have the printer, we have everything else. We don't have that use for that computer. It's not worth much, but she would appreciate keeping it. Now, the fact of the matter is, she's out of town for about a month here with medical issues, and family issues. Well, when she comes back, she had committed to helping Teresa in making the transition fully to the clerk's role. And I would be of a mind to say, Ruth, you keep that old computer. It's a town asset, but I think it's worth, she's not gonna get paid anymore to do this stuff. But I think it would be just right because of the work she has done and continues to do. Because she's even available to us by text. So
Yeah.
we're still
She calls
getting,
me almost every
help.
day,
so,
or text.
you know, to that end, I would say that we as a town should just grant her that. But it needs to be something that town electric can say, no, sell it. Get
I myself
$14.
don't have a problem with that, because as a person who has businesses and you try to get rid of computers afterward, it's going to be nothing but a cost to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And it isn't like there's any big top secrets, that's all public stuff that she has on there and would be cleaned off anyway. You're gonna have a shell of what, something that for the little bit she's gonna use would be fine. So I don't know.
For email primarily is what
Right.
she's using.
So I don't know if the citizens have any input or any problems with that. If not, maybe we'll make a motion to
It has
allow
no
her.
value.
Right.
Right.
Let her have it. She's gonna probably have to upgrade it. It may not last much
Right.
longer.
May not.
So, you know, because let's face it, Windows 10 is going out, and now I gotta have Windows 11. They're already got a notice on mine. You need to upgrade, you know. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, I would, if you're gonna make the motion, I'd second
I'll make a
that.
motion. I'll make a motion that Ruth can keep the computer when she gets back home. And do whatever she wants to do with it.
Okay, great.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
All right, a motion on the table from Kevin that Ruth can keep the computer that she has been using, and a second by Larry. All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it will carry.
That was all I had.
All right. So no other business or transaction. We will move on to item number 9. Set the next annual meeting for April 15th, 2025 at 6:30 PM at the town hall. I don't think there should be any problems with that, correct?
Correct.
All right. We're gonna
I mean, statutorily, we have to do it on this date,
So,
third Tuesday.
okay, we're looking for an adjournment. I move to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, second.
All right. Kevin made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Larry had seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it will carry.
Great, thank you.
Okay, the annual town meeting is now done. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will then go to our
Now we'll-
monthly.
Now we'll go to our monthly town meeting, yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Nice
Nice
meeting you
seeing you
again.
again.
Yeah, if you see me around.
Yeah, if you're out
Yeah.
there poking around a little bit.
Glad to sit and talk.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to come and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Yeah, well, I'm on third shift now, so if you're ever in my neck of the woods, stop on in, so.
Third shift at,
Thumbing for you.
hold on, okay, I need
Yeah.
to come in.
Yeah.
We just-
So-
better chair over there.
My son,
Yeah.
Mike, he's in Forestville.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a big. Oh,
Get into
Yeah.
meeting.
That's all right.
Oh, maybe I do that.
Yep, that's done for you. This is
Maybe a little
Monday.
closer.
Works a lot easier. I
Yeah.
realize, well,
And then accept it.
I'm 12 minutes away, and we're still taking almost a half hour drive the other way. Yeah.
All right.
But we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, that's for you, all right.
All right, we are now gonna move on to the town board monthly meeting, which is going to be held today, April 16th, 2024. The time is 7:16 PM. All right. The verification of public notice for this meeting.
Yes, I believe, it was posted both here at the town hall.
Yes, you're right. I wasn't listening. I was too busy concentrating on what time we called it to order.
7:16 PM.
Okay, it was posted at the town hall, it was posted on the website, and it was posted at the clerk's.
All right,
But I'm number
perfect.
3. Does Kevin have 2 blue ones?
Yeah, he's got two blue ones.
Oh,
I
there we
didn't
go.
need to.
Will you pass it?
We're good.
I didn't, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, agenda presentation. Does anybody see anything they,
You're gonna have some, we have a guest to make a presentation.
yeah,
But do we wanna move that up?
I think we would wanna move that up, right?
I would think so.
And our guest's name is?
Yeah.
Zeb.
Jed.
Jeb,
Jeb, right, J-E-D?
Yep,
Okay.
we don't wanna take her entire night, so
On the presentation.
we're gonna look at moving you up a little bit and go from there. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Other than moving Jeb up, we're gonna accept the agenda as written.
I make that motion.
I second that.
All right, I have a motion made by Larry to move Jeb up to speak so he can move, and a second by Jason. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. Okay, so Jeb, would you like to run with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Jeb Salins. I'm the Director of Emergency Management for Door County. And one of the things that I really wanted to get out to the local towns and villages to talk about is the role that emergency management plays with the local municipalities. So in Wisconsin, we're set up a little differently than most states. We have what is called a home rule. We're a home rule state, so that means the local municipality is really in charge. They have extra powers to say, which means, you know, if there was a disaster that happened here and the governor came in and said, hey, all right, you know, this is what we're gonna do. As local officials, you can say, thanks, but go pound some sand. It is really up to the locals to manage their disasters, and they have the authority. So, you know, in emergency management, we always say every disaster starts and ends locally. And that's really what it means, is the local officials have that extra responsibility. So when a disaster happens and your resources are, let's say, you know, run out, depleted, that's when you turn to the county and say, hey, can we get some extra assistance? You know, we'll come in with some mutual aid agreements, you know, and then we'll start reaching out to the state for even extra assistance. But still, at the end of the day, you know, the ones making the decisions are those local officials. So we have a class here in May 14th, and it's all about these local officials, how they work in that emergency management situations. So understanding, the incident command system that our first responders use. And then also how that works with the elected officials and kind of marrying those two worlds. So it's really just kind of explaining to developing those municipalities on how decisions are made, what responsibilities you guys have, and how does that work with response agencies. So I just really wanted to come in here and offer you guys that opportunity to come learn about it. I think it's a great class, free of charge. It's 4 hours on the 14th of May. So we'll be holding it at the Government Center in Sturgeon Bay. In the county boardroom from 12:30 to 4:30. We have this great presenter coming in from Illinois. This is what he does. He goes around, he talks with different communities. He can kind of curtail it to exactly what we want, and what I'm really looking for here is developing those capabilities locally. So when we do have that big power outage that affected the whole county, there's one point of contact for you guys down here in Forestville to call up to me, and we can have these conversations on what do we need to be doing now, what should we be looking for in the future, and what are some of our priorities and responsibilities. And so this just allows us to get ahead of any situations that are developing, and also just kind of, if we do need extra resources, to start getting those rolling right away and having some of those discussions and knowing, is there going to be a financial cost to this, or should we think about declaring a disaster? How do all these things work, so we can best serve, the people that we represent? So that's really just why I wanted to come in. It's kind of a field that not a lot of people know about, but you guys play such an important role in it, that I really just kind of want to start developing those conversations with you guys, so we can work together.
Educate us a little bit.
Exactly.
So 12:30 to 4:30?
Yeah.
Do they have to reserve, email you, or how do you?
So I'll pass these around.
Okay.
There's a way for you to sign up online.
Okay.
You can either do the QR code or do the link.
Okay, perfect.
And it's a 4 hour, bring your questions. Obviously each municipality is gonna be different and have different needs. But this will be a really good kind of first step for any local officials on, what this kind of look like for emergency management with those local municipalities and how we work together. And I think a lot of this will build off of it going forward on how we develop those relationships. Do we have emergency operation plans in place? Who's gonna be your public information officer? Who's gonna be the one standing in front of cameras when they come to your local small town because something's happening? And are we prepared, So I'm all about developing these relationships on blue sky days, so we have at least a plan when disaster does strike. We're not just standing there being like, oh, what do we do now? We have a plan, we know how we're gonna communicate, and we can go forward with the same message.
So is there a specific building? I think when you guys were talking at one point in time, the church versus the township, what is that actually for?
Well, that was
For election.
with elections. That was
Yeah.
addressing elections. Some years back, were involved in development of the national NIMS, National Incident Management System. We have a manual on that. It's been updated a couple of times that I'm aware of in the last 10 years. As the complexion of the community changes, the town. So it's not been touched for a few years now, I think. How long ago, Jason, was that last?
Say on there.
This is for
4 years ago.
election.
4 years ago.
Oh, nice.
But that's what you're talking about,
Are
is
you talking about
elections,
this,
right?
the
That's
election, or is
something
that
else.
separate?
That's something
That's
else.
separate.
Okay, that's separate, okay.
That's with the elections commission.
Great, yeah, if there's an emergency during that time period.
Well, yeah, during the course of
Election day.
election, conduct of an election, then we have to, we'll address that later on tonight. So if we look back at the old NIMS system, it's been 4 years since anybody's really looked at that.
Yeah, and that NIM system, that is also kind of the foundation of incident command system. We use those two very similar. They're not the same, but they both work together.
They're complementary.
Exactly.
Got it.
So understanding one helps to understand the other.
Dan Kane brought some information to us.
Yep.
And others have over the years.
Yeah, so it's really good to have, whenever we introduce someone new to the fire service or EMS, that's one of the first places we start is getting an understanding of ICS, Instant Command System, and then NIMS, the National Incident Management System.
Okay.
That's where we kind of start because that's where everything kind of builds off of. There are really our building blocks to everything else, how we structure our response, how that's scalable from a very small incident to a very large incident, and how we build different divisions off of it. So we use that. So, if one of our firefighters goes to Green Bay or to Michigan, it's the same system. They can just plug and play. They know exactly where they fit in and how to communicate and what that hierarchy is. So everyone has their place and knows what to do.
It looks like it.
And that's part of your training here as well, then.
Correct. Yeah, it's gonna give you guys a very foundational understanding of it. And then, what I really wanna do over these next couple of years is, work with you guys. I got a list of classes from the states that if you're interested in, we can bring these things in free of charge. And develop things that you really wanna participate in, on Thursday, we're hosting a class at the Sheriff's Department all about event security. With these big festivals and all the towns doing their own thing, EMS and the Sheriff's Department really were interested in how do we get better at, hosting events. It's one example of a lot of different things we can do. And as a rural community, we don't have a lot of resources, so it's nice to be able to bring these things in for free. We literally just need, people that are willing to take this class and they'll bring them in. So it's a great opportunity.
Are you with the state or are you with the county?
With the county.
Are you with the
Yeah,
county?
so I'm their full-time emergency manager. When Dan Kane left, originally that position was half dispatch and half emergency management. And then they split it. Emergency management is all on their own and dispatch is all on their own.
Who's handling dispatch at this?
Brenda Bly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's one of their longtime dispatchers.
I was gonna say, she works right there at the dispatch center.
Yep, and we still work a lot
Oh,
together,
sure.
obviously, but yeah, she knows her stuff, I know my stuff, so.
Okay. No, it sounds like a
Right.
great opportunity. I'm blind for that.
I think you'll have some of us going for sure, if not.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it gets us talking about, what's the next step? How we can work better together, and what's some of your ideas in the future? This I don't want this to be my last meeting down here, so please invite me down here whenever. I'm happy to talk to anyone that will listen. And, if you guys have a festival coming up and say, I'm always interested in coming down, seeing it and saying, how can we make this better? How can we make it safer? And just do a better response.
Hey, on the 3rd, we're gonna have a nice fireworks show.
I love fireworks. My dog not so much, but any other questions?
If I may, Gary Danner, Southern Grove Fire Assistant Chief. I don't know if you've talked to Chief Olson or not.
Yeah.
What you updated him on, that kind of stuff. Is this meeting open to general public or is it more just the town chairman, boards?
It's really focused on election officials and appointed officials. But I'm having people come from the hospital, Sturgeon Bay Fire, all over. So I would say anyone who's interested in it, please stop on by.
Okay.
Sign up, just so we can get a good head count, but absolutely.
Yeah, copy.
Yeah, everyone's interested.
You're thinking for like,
And refresher if nothing else.
Yeah, I took ICS, 100, 700, 200, all that, online. It was the most boring class. If you look at it.
Painful
But in recent years, I've seen, instructors come in and who actually apply this to situations. Why you need to understand this. This is why it works here. This is how we found benefits out of this. It makes so much more sense. I'm like, why did they not just do that to begin with? But,
Right.
Yeah, because it's cheaper and easier to do an online course than it is to have someone come in, so,
Super.
Yeah, okay.
but yeah.
All right.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
feel free to, any questions, get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to answer.
All right,
All
perfect.
right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Move on to item number 4. Approve meeting minutes from March 14th, 2024 and April 5th, 2024. Which was a special board meeting
Yeah, the
to
special,
change the address because everything was going to Ruth's house. And with Ruth not being clerk any longer, what we did is we opened up a PO box. So now a PO box will just be for the township itself, so that should not change anymore. But we had to have a special meeting, we called, the Wisconsin Towns Association. And they said you need to call a meeting to order in order to physically do that, to make sure that that's all legal. And so we move forward with that. So that's what the April 5th, 2024 meeting was. Was at 4:09 PM. It didn't last very long.
no, it shouldn't.
Other than this is what we're gonna do, and that was the end of that, for the most part.
Yeah, it started at 4:09 and ended at 4:12.
Correct.
3-minute meeting.
But you had to do it legally, so that's what took place on that one.
I don't know, we've had these minutes out
Yep,
for review. I don't see anything wrong with them. To that end, I would make a motion that we approve both the minutes from the March 14th, 2024 meeting, our monthly meeting, and the special board meeting on April 5th, 2024.
I second that.
all right, I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for March 14th, regular board meeting, and April 5th, special meeting, and from Larry, and a second from Jason, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. Treasurer's financial report.
Okay, in the town checking, we have $1,325.59. The money market, we have $127,734.41. The money market, we have $133,633.64. The ARPA, we have $40,960.47, and we now have the fire department escrow in a CD with 5%, making 5%, and that has $134,275.50. On the cemetery account is $14,333.65. And I need to find out what we wanna do with that cemetery account. I mean, every time we write a check out of there, am I supposed to be taking it out of this account, or do we do it at the end of the year?
The
or-
monies from Associated Bank, which is where that checking account was, need to be deposited into our general fund account.
Right, but we
it's
show us,
tracked separately.
okay, so every time I write a check, I have to take that out of it.
Yeah,
Pull it out of
rather
that
than,
account.
rather than having two checking accounts.
Yeah, it's getting a little, okay, I will look at that because
Now,
it's
did
getting
that-
a little rabbit hole.
well, there's so many good things going on.
Okay,
You've got other things to report, but I want to find out a couple of questions.
Yep.
We applied for and got the county funding for the broadband work, the $15,000 I
Yes.
talked to you.
Yep.
It came in, is it in here yet?
it's in there.
Oh, it is in here.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's another question. Does that have to go on a separate line?
We should have that just like the fire department or the ARPA funds. In other words, escrow, because it's toward the work that's going to have to go on to get broadband. So when I talked earlier in the other meeting about, working through contracting with ISP, having some attorney assistance in some of our right-of-way requirements and that type of thing, that's what that money's gonna be for.
Okay.
So we got it, but we need to track it because it's gotta be for broadband. That was the purpose of the grant that I wrote to get that money.
Okay.
So, I just don't know what it is in here.
And I do have signatures that Teresa, Kevin, and I have to sign for that city.
Correct.
And then I gotta go through some stuff with you anyway at the end to.
Yeah.
Change whatever.
Yeah,
so we
that's-
can take
Okay,
care of
so
that.
where does that show up in this thing?
I think it's just right now, I think she just put it under the general account.
Yeah, it's just under the,
So
the
next
money
meeting, what
market.
she'll do is she'll just break that out
Okay,
in a separate
okay.
line item.
yeah,
But it is in here.
yeah, if you look, 15,650 miscellaneous other revenue broadband grant. It's right before the total
Oh.
of BMO money market. Second page, second page.
Second page, I'm right here.
Sorry, third page. It's the
Well-
second page of the,
Well, I was looking on the second page.
uh,
Broadband grant, see it,
Yep,
okay,
yep, right
yep,
there.
there it is, okay, that's all I wanted to know. Do we have no receivables?
Nope.
Okay. No receivables, no debt, and money, well, what a position to be in.
I think that broadband grant is missing a couple zeros.
No, it's just a small grant.
It was a wish. okay?
That's a wish. Hey, listen, it was 25 cents or something per location, some silly thing like that, but hey, I got it.
and then the other thing, I don't know if you wanna talk about that now, or if you wanna talk about it when you do the bills, but that positive pay, I don't know if we wanna end up doing that or not.
I don't think so.
It's gonna
It's
cost.
gonna cost us $30 a month.
I think we're gonna pass on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pass on that, I would think so, I would agree with that. The other thing is, the quantum expense is in here, I assume, the bill
For the laptop?
for the laptop?
Yeah.
What we talked about, last month, I was authorized to spend, what was that, $1,500?
Yeah.
And what we ended up spending was, I forgot what the total is.
It's $1,282.
So 13,000, 1,394.95, because
No,
there were
the other
three
stuff was
invoices.
for some
One was
protection.
for the computer,
This
which
is right for the
included the
protection for
malware
the
bites.
computer?
Yeah.
And then
one
there were
was
two
for-
other subscriptions for malware
Oh.
bites.
Yeah,
So all three of our systems are now protected with malware bites.
Makes sense,
So, but we did that for under $1,400.
correct.
Which is good.
which
Yeah.
is still under 1,500,
Yeah.
see, that was a good call on your
Yeah.
part.
See?
Yeah,
Did I have to
called
do
it out
anything to my
It allowed
computer?
you to do what you needed to do.
I did it.
Did I have to do anything to my computer? Or did you do that to my computer?
Did you update
Did
it?
you update my?
Yeah,
Okay.
remember I took it from you?
Oh, yeah, yep, I do now.
I gave it back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we met on a farm road somewhere, but it
Yeah.
did happen. Okay. All right, well, make a motion. Why do I always make the motion?
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, I have a motion made by Jason to accept the treasurer's report and a second by Larry. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it will carry. Okay, item number 6, public comment. Limit 3 minutes per person, 15-minute max, and then the town board can respond if they choose to.
We have someone online, but I do not know who that is. So, online person, could you identify yourself for us?
My name is Diane Slipska, but I'm just observing. I don't have any comment at this time.
All
Okay,
right.
Diane, what's your last name so she can
Hi.
put it down?
Slipska,
Walinska.
Can you spell that, please?
Talk to
Yep.
her.
Could you,
S says in Sam, Liv Victor, Ka. Slipska.
okay, thank you.
Perfect, thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
You bet.
All right, anybody here have anything you wanna go through? None? All right,
I just noticed that.
yeah. that was
Do you wanna
perfect.
talk? You can talk now.
You can come out yet and look at that corner of,
Right,
that's gotta be looked at before we
correct.
get into that.
So. I'd like to look at it first and then we'll talk about, then I can talk about it to the board, what,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
exactly what's there, yes. So if a culvert is failing or not, and if it's in our right of way, if it's failing and it's holding up the water, well, then they need to replace that culvert.
Absolutely.
But if it's
But
not
you've got to
failing,
take a look at that.
absolutely, yeah, okay, that's what's gonna be taking place. So anyway, other than that, yep, we're well aware of it, it's on the radar.
Pretty good.
Okay, hearing nothing else, we will move on from there. Correspondence. Approval of temporary Class B retailer's license for Maplewood Athletic Club and operator's license for Jim Grovable and Holly Malvins.
This is the paperwork I received from,
Okay,
all three from the Maplewood Athletic Club and Holly and Jim.
it's all the same, right? Oh, no, it's all three of them.
Well, it's.
One's for the permit.
This is the permit.
This is the
for the license.
application, and
This
the
is
application for
Yeah.
operating license.
Okay, and did they have their, is this that certificate? They got the server,
None
This
of,
is-
no, that just came
So
in the
one is
mail.
for the town and one is for the village. That must be a
It's
typo.
gotta be a typo, cause it's for the ball field, so.
Yeah, so it can't be the village, that's gotta go away,
yeah.
right? It's
Yeah,
gotta
it's
Right,
gotta
it's
be,
town.
gotta be town,
or else you're talking to Terry.
Who is it?
yeah.
Jim Grovable and
And Holly.
Holly
Malvins.
Malvins. Yeah,
This is their operator's license for serving.
Right, this is to run
The ball
the
field.
operator's license.
yeah.
62 years. He's familiar with the law.
Well, this one is not very good. I don't think we should,
She's 4.
that's what it says. Sorry. We need
Filled
to
it
get
out wrong?
another number
Right.
associated with that one.
You might want a 0 back there.
I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know.
4 years old.
Oh, okay. I can contact her and see how
Yeah.
old she is.
Yeah, well.
So,
I mean, if you get that corrected
sure.
and we corrected the town as opposed to the village, then.
Right, and I just
Yeah.
scratched it out because.
Yeah.
We know who Jim is and we know that that's what he was
Right.
asking for, or meant to ask for.
Yep.
Town, everything else looks okay. President.
And I think it's from May to what? They have the time period on there, May,
Yeah,
yeah, to,
Yeah, 5/1, ending on
September
9/30 of 24, which
Yeah.
is
yeah, it's for
basically
the ball.
The
the
ball
whole
stuff,
season,
yep.
yep.
ball game / fireworks. We're gonna do it with the fireworks too, just so you know.
I know that.
All
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you were aware.
Good revenue stream,
Mhm.
good revenue stream.
It is.
Because last year there was a heck of a party going on in this whole township.
Yeah, it was.
So they're looking for the date reported to the council or the board, date for the clerk to fill out.
Yep. Do we have to approve that?
I think so. And I think we can approve this one, but she'll just write in the right
Yeah,
date.
right,
She'll
right.
verify
I agree.
the age, because it should be done right.
Cause those two had one last year too, so
Yeah.
they had permits to
So I-
operate, so.
I make a motion to approve, the Class B licenses as we have them with a few corrections, which Teresa can can verify and make sure that's all good.
Verification of age.
Right, verification of age.
Right.
And,
Or Jim Grovigal and
yep, for Jim Grovigal and for, Holly Mulvitz.
I'd second that.
All right, so I have a motion on the table, from Kevin to accept Jim Grovigal and Holly Mulvitz's, Class B liquor license for the athletic,
Well, they're getting an operator's license.
an operator's license, yeah.
And
Class B retailer's license for the athletic club and operator's license for Jim and Holly. And then a second by Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that one will carry. Give them back to her. She will verify and do what she needs to do. Okay, item number, or letter B, review election day emergency response plan.
So Ruth received an email from Jill Lau about updating the election day emergency response plan. So I think she had a meeting back in March she attended, and she had the location if there was an event,
And all
something would happen in the emergency that in the election that we would go to the Cylinder Fire Department.
Do you have a copy?
And I only made 2 copies,
Okay.
but because that's in the
Oh, yeah.
village, Larry and I thought we should go to St. Mary's Church in Maplewood.
Well, we have had that in the past.
Right.
And I
right.
don't know why they put it down at the fire department.
So
I have no idea.
we thought because the village would have the election day, they would be at the.
Yeah, is that where they have the elections at the, where do they have the, no, they're at the library.
They have the
They're at the
library.
library.
Yeah,
So if they would have emergency, they would be going to the
sure,
fire department. So we'd have overflow if we would go to the fire department as well. So Larry and I looked over the plan and we changed it to go to Holy Name of Mary Church or St.
My,
Mary's Church.
my only concern would be access to anybody that, with a disability. I mean, they do have an elevator and that kind of stuff, but are you gonna go upstairs or downstairs? That kind of stuff. There's no,
Well, it would probably be in the front hallway.
you would try to
In
do
the
that right,
foyer?
right in the hallway?
Yeah, right there in the foyer, in the front.
Okay, that would be my only concern.
Right.
So,
that'd be wide enough? That'd be big enough?
Well, you have to have your voting machine and you have to have the booths, which you need a registration table. It's wide, but it's not very deep.
would you have access to internet or, telephone service to,
Well, as an example of what occurred with this past election, they ended up running the chip card into the county.
okay,
So
Yeah.
without,
I'm not familiar with that stuff, but it just,
Yeah.
without
Right.
the ability to use the telephone or something, they have the card that comes out of the machine, and that was transported, a couple of people, election officials, take it to the county.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
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 So it's, I mean, that's the way, it seems kind of archaic, but it does work.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, it's certainly cumbersome, but, effective.
It worked. Yeah.
So I think that having it in the village or in the township close here,
Mhm.
was correct, was right call. I don't know why you put it down to the fire department, but, yeah.
Well, especially if, like you're saying, if they can't use the library, that's where Terry is gonna be sending their people. It's a fact.
And then you really have a crowd.
It's gonna be
Well,
overflowing.
Which,
Which way you go?
Right, and you're gonna have
right.
mix-ups, you're gonna have,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
let's not even get into all of that with all the crazy stuff going around the world today. We'll
is
just,
elections, yes.
right, we'll
Right.
just do, now it's separate. You're still Forestville, we just can't be here today because of whatever. You gotta be right.
Right. Yeah.
That's easy to remember for most people.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're not here, you go half mile the other way. So
Okay,
that change was made,
Right, that was made in
And-
3 different spots, yep.
and you then will submit that to Jill.
Okay,
I think it needs to be submitted to the county clerk.
and
and
we
then
talked to the church about this, right? They're good with that, right?
I haven't talked to the church, no.
We should probably ask them.
Yeah, I would think so.
I would think
I'm just
so. I
saying.
don't know.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
Hey, we're coming over, really?
Well, again,
Churches
this
used to be open 24/7, but now in this day and
it's
age,
one
they're
of
not.
the, this is
so-
one of those things where,
Okay, I gotta make
you
a
know,
note, talk to the church.
I think that needs to be cleared with the church,
Yeah, yeah.
but it needs to be done. And I
So
don't
if the-
think we should hinder
So
the
if the,
ability. If we should get approval from the,
Yeah, so we could make a motion just based off of the
yes,
church
Yeah,
Yeah.
accepting this,
Right.
then it's not a problem, we just move
Right.
forward
Yeah.
and submit the papers.
right,
okay,
So I'll make a motion that we accept the election day emergency response plan,
naming the church.
naming the church as the place to go based off of their okay, and then Teresa, you can submit it and do whatever we need to do.
okay, sounds good.
All right,
So,
second that.
all right, so Kevin's made the motion to accept the election day emergency response plan after asking the church and getting the permission, the okay. Larry has seconded it. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. So for the people out here, I have to repeat that with the names for the owl and the other thing. So if you think, why would he be doing that? At least you know what is going on.
I can explain it, but I won't.
Yeah. Okay,
It's involved.
item number 8,
9. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong one.
19.
Hey, what do you got for us?
Decision on logistics of building correspondence management with new clerk. So obviously, we've got a few things that we're gonna need to deal with at some point in time here on, well, from letterhead, right? Everything that needs to be changed.
Well, that's what we authorized at the special meeting when we did the address change. However,
Correct. But once we do that, we're talking everything now. And we wanna be able to do that without having to run a special meeting for everything. Whether that be, oh my God, the bank, I gotta change
yeah,
the name or whatever, just even the credit card thing where the address now has to be changed, because they sent it to me and it's not the PO box. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I guess I wanna make some type of a motion to do what we have to do to change all of that. Some of these things we're talking about are, this is just one that I brought. A potential box on the outside of the building we would mount something of this nature. This is not a over expensive one,
Mhm.
you know, you can shove papers in here, you can come up top, put your key or whatever in there, give them a code, up and you're done. There's many other ones you can get that are much, stronger than this, if we wanna do something of that nature.
Right.
On the outside of the building, for the keys for the hall or return, whatever we would have to do, or I gotta drop papers off.
Sure.
At the town hall.
well, see, in the past, what happened with, when somebody rents the hall, and we do have a lot of rentals in the hall, they need to pick up the paperwork, they need to sign
Right,
the,
so I had one this weekend. So I have a box outside my house, so I just text her, I have the key out and I have the paper that you need to
Okay.
sign. And she left her documentation in my mailbox,
okay,
and then she texted me when she was done,
Okay.
so then I'm like, okay, I'm home, and drop off the key and then give her back her security deposit.
we had
Yeah.
talked about having a drop here.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's what we wanna do, but
Yeah.
I do think in some cases, that's a wise thing to have,
Yeah,
is a box like that, that can be secured.
Mhm.
That if there's somebody needs to pick up the key and they're not
Right.
familiar with, how do we get over there to that road, you got it.
right, yeah, right, so,
It's not just simply down the road.
right,
So you give them the key, you give them the code to get the key out,
yeah, and you can
And
change
then-
the code at any given time.
but that's what I'm saying, so
okay.
every time you give the
Right.
key, you're gonna have to change the code.
Well, depending, I
Yeah.
mean,
Depending
You know
on
what
what
it
you're
is.
dealing with.
yeah,
and I mean, you can, like I said, you can look at this one, that's why I brought this. Like I said, this is not a very expensive one. This would be something like we're gonna put up at the office because you're dropping a sample and we're there, you can check it,
Yeah.
who cares, it's not a very long period of time. But maybe we want something a little more waterproof, or looking for opinions.
Sure.
This one is approximately $30-40. You can get Jan says it's either something like this, which is inexpensive. There's really nothing in the middle, or we're into $150 one, but now you're getting a little more tentative. Yeah.
And
yes,
weather tight.
correct, right.
I personally think that that's a wise thing to put here at the building.
Mhm.
You're not always gonna be here.
No, I know, cause
So
I wasn't when she
as far
dropped
as,
off.
yeah, so as far as papers, what, they have to sign something to?
The rental agreement,
So they
so,
don't do that online, okay, so they have
well,
to do
this
that-
one didn't do it online, this one was all paperwork, so I'm do it online. Then it's all taken care of, they just need to come pick up the key, which they could just, they're
Sure.
coming to the town hall,
Yeah,
just have
on,
the key here, doesn't that make sense? You know?
Right, you can have
Yeah.
another separate little lock box
Yep.
or a knock box.
Yeah.
I think those knock boxes are fairly waterproof, are they not, that the fire department would use?
They're decent. I mean, they're just holding keys, so it's not like, you're gonna have papers or anything like that.
Right, but I mean,
Yeah.
and there's gotta be some that have a code on it that, it's just that like the ones we use at the job site are not, if it rains and then it freezes, my buttons don't wanna push them.
No.
You know what I mean? Whatever, you heat it up, well, you don't wanna have
Yeah,
somebody
no,
dealing with that.
Like you said, the price starts running up if you start going to an electronic one of some sort that,
You
would
don't
be
wanna,
more weather tight and, access to it that way. But then you could change the code,
Mhm.
the knock box, keys that we have in the truck have, multiple codes. Everybody's got a different code to enter it to pull the key out, so you know who's got it, so. Might be an option that you wanna spend a little more on it and take it that way, so.
Yeah, I would think that would make sense.
another option would be, like Dr. Stoudemire's office has one of those keypads, it's a Schlage, I mean, you're spending, I don't know, $150, $200. But you can change that code or put multiple
Yes.
codes in that specific pad, and it's not very,
Yeah.
okay, here's your code, just like, I can get in, okay, then they can unlock the rest of the doors that they would need to unlock.
And you
The other
really
doors.
only need one, right?
Right,
Correct,
Yeah, like maybe on
that's what I'm
that.
saying, because
Mhm.
right, we
Yes,
wouldn't have the hallway one, you'd have access to the bathrooms.
right,
I guess the only thing would be, well, you have the power outside there, you don't really
Right.
need to be into the
No,
other room, you shouldn't be there anyway.
Right.
Other than cleaning supplying, if that's the case, maybe we put it under the sink in the kitchen or
Right,
something
hide
and
it
say, here
somewhere.
you go.
right, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just looking for
Yeah.
options and making life easy for everybody, I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
the thing is, I'm thinking about a variety of people that are using the building. Some are in here on a weekly basis, others are here a monthly basis, others here one time a year.
So maybe, so you, like you said, you can put different codes in, so maybe the monthly people, you give them a code and they just use that code, or the weekly people
Right.
just use that code, like the.
right, just like the 4-H group
Yes.
or
Right.
whatever
Yeah.
else. I
Right.
mean,
Right,
And then the
Legion,
other
Barbara.
person, you'll just, that comes once a year, you'll have to change that code every
Right.
time they.
Yeah.
Come in or whatever. but-
right,
That might make it a lot easier,
I think it'd make it a lot easier.
yeah, even if what do you think, Jason?
Price. We gotta come up with a price on this. How much it's gonna cost us.
Yeah, well,
what
I
we
think,
wanna
like I said,
spend.
that doorknob
Yeah,
one,
The Schlage?
the Schlage one was, I thought it was like 150, I don't think it's more than $200.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about keys,
Yeah.
right, a lot easier.
I know.
Codes are much
Right.
easier than keys.
Yes.
It just
Right,
opens the door right up.
And I don't know, how does it work in winter? Do you have problems? I mean, is there problems with them in winter? Do they get
No,
frozen
not
up or
that.
anything? Okay.
No, not those, those are designed for
Yeah,
Oh,
exterior
it's not,
doors.
right.
Okay.
Cause we have a punch code in our place.
and I love it, I do, I
Yeah,
don't ever have to worry about a key, so,
Yeah. Okay.
yep.
yeah, I think that we should do that.
That will help with the building part of it.
Right,
I still think you need something for papers and whatnot.
yeah,
Well, I agree with that, but if we have an access code from the outside where people can get in, then we could go with something like this on the inside for paperwork.
Oh, yeah,
couldn't we?
And maybe all you need is a slot. They don't, I
Right.
mean, they don't have to open it, right?
right,
So you don't even have to give you a code to get in it. You just have a slot for them to put the papers in.
Right.
She'd
right.
be able to open it up.
Mhm. So, the ones
Would
that
you,
pay
would you
online,
ever have a scenario where you wanna drop something off to them and, listen, I have to go or whatever, a burning permit or whatever, I need a burning permit, can I, you know what, I'll write this thing out. I'll put it in the box. You come when you get here today and you get it, and then you call the fire department when you're gonna do it, and I would see a scenario like that type of thing, cause,
That would
So-
have to be on the outside of the building.
correct,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
But there's where Ruth was,
Yeah.
and it was
constantly.
burdensome for her, and she can tell you that. I really
Oh,
don't
I
have
had
a day
one
off,
Saturday.
it's 7 days a week, it's,
Yeah.
It is,
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's not what this is supposed to be,
Right.
it's.
right, right.
I had one
No,
Saturday,
I
came to my
agree with
house.
that, 'cause
Yep.
I issued a burning
all the
permit just the
time
other day,
So,
and he said, well, when should I come for it? I said, I'm home now, I'm here for another hour.
Right, and
Boom,
maybe
he
that's,
showed up.
so I just think we should get a weatherproof, fairly weatherproof one, you know what I mean?
Reasonable.
Yeah, like this, I think is not overly
That's nice.
weatherproof.
yep, I do,
That
so we
works.
can,
And then we'll get the doorknob, and I think
definitely.
that'll solve
A bunch of
a
problems.
bunch of logistic issues right there.
Right,
We've also, Teresa updated the rental license agreement for the hall. I updated the guidelines and the checklists,
right.
brought those current,
Mhm.
and those are up on the website now. We do have some open issues, with some of the pieces on the website. Your name is spelled incorrectly and still saying Ruth Kirscher on the
Yes, I
emails.
seen that.
Yeah,
And it,
I changed the email today to my name, so hopefully it'll come through to my name.
check how you spelled your name.
On the email? Oh, I spelled it wrong?
Yeah,
Oh my
Why
God.
are you so judgy?
I'm just trying, I'm working with this thing.
First name
all
or my
the
last
time.
name? My
Last
last name definitely
your
spelled
last
wrong.
name's spelled wrong.
No, it's
Oh,
your
is it?
first name.
Was it really?
On
Yeah.
the email, I just
Well, that's
changed it
right, the
tonight.
S and the A were switched around.
S-N-A, it's an
Yeah.
N,
Yeah.
now turned
Yeah.
around.
Today? Oh,
Yes. So anyway, whatever it's worth, we're going to be spending some time, quality time together in getting a lot of things done.
yes, yep.
Well, changed over, it just has to
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it's things
definitely.
that we are working on.
And some of this you're not even gonna know, so you almost need to make a blanketed motion of like, all of a sudden, something came in the mail, it's like, well, that's gonna be a problem. Cause it can't go there, it doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Well, how would you, I didn't know what to change or how that all happens, but it is what it is,
I think you just put it miscellaneous.
you know?
Mhm.
So I guess we should make the motion to do the, I can look at the
Mailbox
purchase, the
and-
mailbox and
And
the,
then the lock.
And,
you know, as far as the cost, like I said, $150 to $200 for the lock.
as long, you know,
You're probably looking the same with the box.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, maybe if we just kind of do like the computer where
don't exceed 500.
don't exceed this amount and okay, that part would be taken care of and then we can make another motion for whatever to change those blanketed things of
Right.
miscellaneous address, signature cards, whatever it may be. I mean, 41 years is a long time. Probably got things coming. We have no idea that's coming yet.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Any way you wanna look at that.
Teresa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't do Hey Gov. You did that.
You have to change your name within HAGUP.
Oh,
I'll show you tomorrow.
okay, sounds good.
Kevin made his all caps. Everybody else
Is
is all
that wrong too?
Whatever trips your trigger, I mean, you know.
So you're shouting for Kevin.
Everybody's.
Oh, my God.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, but I can't open this thing up, so I go in there and I hit this little thing, right, to open it, and now it's like, okay, which I was gonna show you that after the meeting of, how does this even work? Because now it's like, well, submit your application. I'm not
It's
submitting
there.
an application,
He
I want
already
to see it.
submitted it. You have to go out and authorize to pay. You
I
grab
gotta
the money.
see what I'm gonna, I gotta see what I'm
There's a
authorizing.
plan. There's a map out there.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm gonna show it to you and then you can
Okay, all right.
walk me
fine.
through it a little later.
All right, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna make a motion, to purchase a doorknob and a mailbox not to exceed $500
Sounds good.
for the town hall.
I'll second that.
All right, so Kevin made a motion not to exceed $500 for a new doorknob, which would be a push button
Door lock.
doorknob slash lock, and a mailbox for papers to be put on the town hall not to exceed $500. And it was seconded by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. Then I'd like to make a motion to leave a blanketed motion of being able to change whatever signatures and names and things we need to change in order to take Ruth off, add Teresa on, and get everything in the proper working order as they come in. Cause we don't know what's gonna come in or when it's gonna come in, but we don't wanna have to hold
Well,
a special
the
meeting.
basic business.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I'll second a motion to that effect. I feel in a way that we already did that, but
This way it's just,
another motion.
right, we're clear.
We had a special meeting and it said, motion made by Larry to change mailing addresses to the post office box for all letterhead, vendor correspondence, accounts, and website. You got that?
Okay,
so
All
technically,
accounts?
technically, we don't need that motion, and, because we already did it on the special meeting.
I think it's already been
So
covered.
it should be covered there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think we're
then
good.
we're good with it.
Yeah,
You're
we've
good,
got
I'm
that, and we've started the process.
All right,
I'll be a bit late, but we started.
perfect.
All right,
Okay.
Chuck's gonna be happy. We're gonna get to him next.
Well, actually, I got a call from Lauren, and Lauren said, you know, I've got an engagement with the Southern Door School and the kids and the girls, and he said, I'm not gonna be there. So then I called, well, actually, the fire chief, and he said, I'm gonna send you over my report. Yeah.
Oh.
Cause I didn't know Chuck was coming. So that's why I was asking Chuck. I didn't want to step on your toes in any way, shape, or form. So here's the chief's report. And then he can fill in anything above and beyond after I'm done gabbing here. So far, everything is going good. That's his report that he gave to the board. And then one of the comments that had come up is the firefighters had purchased a new truck, brush truck,
Mhm.
okay? What they're going to do is take the existing truck when the new one comes in, and they are going to put it up for sale, and then take the proceeds from that truck to help pay for the pump and equipment that goes in the back section of that, which is basically the pump and whatever else. So if I'm speaking wrong, please speak up.
Is that for sale to the public or just to the firemen?
I believe they're putting it out for sale, like an open bid type thing.
It will be to the general public.
Anybody can buy it. But then the proceeds of that sale would go basically toward the rest of the truck. So the truck is purchased off of firefighter funds. And they're looking to sell the other one to get the second part that is needed.
To equip it with it.
To equip it in the back, right, the pump and things.
Okay.
So just another recap, which was a little bit of kind of funny, and I didn't really realize. That truck, the brush truck, the firemen bought it the first time around and donated it to us. Okay, so technically, we never invested any dollars in that in any way, shape, or form. And then the new one, we haven't invested anything in it either. So I didn't think, he asked me what I thought. I said, I didn't think that would be a problem in any way, shape, or form. I did talk to Mike and I did talk to Terry. And, Mike and Terry both agreed, well, yeah, there should be no problem with it because it isn't like they're taking the money and going anywhere else with it. It's going back into the truck.
Right.
You're getting what you want and updating a new
But
one.
as long as the sale is a public sale.
Yep.
Your chances of getting a better price for it, probably.
Correct. That is
Yeah.
what I was told was gonna take place.
Okay.
So, that's what I was told at this point in time. Is there any other updates or anything else or any report of whatever?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay,
Hey, it's gonna be over a year before the new truck comes anyway, you know,
yeah,
so.
right, but you gotta plan and pass
Correct,
everything to
yeah.
happen, right? Nothing
We-
happens overnight in
I
government.
shouldn't say we, because the firefighters have a plan.
Okay, So, and there's nothing else to add to, the chief's report, right?
No, other than the fact that we've hired, 2 new EMRs, right?
Ski runners, yeah.
Anthony,
One's licensed, one's planning to get the state licensing. She is an RN, and through the state regulations, she has to go through EMR training and get her state license to practice. So she plans on doing that as soon as there's a class available, which will probably be fall. So,
So your staffing levels are coming up?
what's that?
Your staffing levels are,
Yes. What's, kind of nice about the current EMR is he's half a mile from the village, and the village has quite a few calls, so it's just nice to have that availability,
sure,
so.
okay.
Were we short EMRs?
Forestville's a tough coverage. I mean, we have a couple now in the village, which is helpful, but, with people working jobs and that kind of stuff, you never know quite who's available, so.
Okay.
It's nice to have a couple extra.
you know where she lives? We know where he lives.
Yeah, she's actually in town of Algoma or Anape. But she will be covering, the village area, so.
Close.
Nice thing about our community is we're becoming more of a retirement community out here, so having an extra person as an RN, as an EMR that's a great thing to
Yeah.
have, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Perfect.
Yeah, and other than that, as I said in my other report, the few firefighters I talked to, the chief, and maybe you guys can collaborate that, everything is running well, everybody seems to be happy. It's about as well as we could have expected.
It's coming around. I mean, it's good to see, camaraderie back. I mean, Chuck's been to a couple, our monthly meetings and seeing how people are talking to each other and getting along, so I think it's,
Heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Better than it was.
Good.
You guys are aware of this, maintenance of effort requirement for emergency services with the state?
which one's that, Larry?
For local emergency services, self-certify, you're maintaining a certain level of service.
Yeah,
So that's something that I would expect that the fire department would be taking on, and the fire board would be taking on.
yeah, we go through all that,
Okay.
as far as,
Okay,
making sure everything's up to,
yeah, we had some information provided to us from the Towns Association.
right,
And so I just saw that as maintaining that level of effort. And there's a reporting process through the state for that.
okay.
Okay, good enough.
All right, perfect. Okay, well, that's the update as far as the fire report goes, department, and we will move on to item number 10, Maplewood Sanitary District Report. Did we get anything?
I received the minutes in the mail from,
Okay,
your last meeting. I'm still waiting for Sean Weatherwax to sign her oath of office because she was the one that was elected in the election
Okay,
for,
but you don't have the sign.
I don't have her
oath of
sign
office.
oath of office, no.
Okay,
Chris Sampoke contacted me and
Yeah.
I said to have her just call or text me when it was convenient so she could stop by my house to sign it. That was over a week ago, so I texted him again today and I haven't heard anything back from Chris. So I'm just waiting on that to
so
see.
whose spot is she taking, or
well, she's just reelected to the position.
she's reelected?
No one ran for office,
Right,
so it was a write-in.
yeah,
But she was holding the office in the case. It's a 6-year commission,
I'm not sure.
I believe.
That's 16-year commission.
No, 6-year position.
I just received those minutes in the mail, I think yesterday, along with the bills, so. And Ruth said to pay those right away because that was last month's water bill, so that's what I did, so.
Okay. Interesting.
Got a whole lot goes on. I see them
Yeah.
every month.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah, I get them because we got water that we
Oh,
pay.
yeah.
What's that? All right, that's the sanitary, so we're gonna move on to the next item, cemetery report. Yeah.
We've gotten some donations of materials for the corner markers on the lots. We're able to fabricate 22 lot,
When you get old, you gotta
lot posts.
stretch out a little bit, you know what I mean? Good night, all.
All right, see ya.
Good night, thank you.
No problem.
I managed to fabricate,
Oh, nice.
weld, and paint, so
Oh, you got them all done?
they're ready to go. These are the stakes that we're going to be putting in to mark the corners of lots where we have pipe or missing items. So they're fabricated and they're ready to go. We just have to come up with a date when everybody's gonna be available, but it'll be before Memorial Day when we do our spring cleanup of both cemeteries. And in that process, we'll be replacing those corner markers where they're needed to be replaced, or putting them in where they're lost. So, thank you, Jason, for some of the material, and Aaron welded, and Larry painted and cut rebar. So, other than that, I had an inquiry from Oregon, Salem, Oregon, for trying to locate someone named Senior grave, supposedly in the town of Forestville, because Junior is terminally ill and wants to be buried by Senior. But I can't find Senior's grave. I don't know if it's Forestville, Wisconsin, our town of Forestville, or some other Forestville cemetery in Wisconsin.
Hmm.
So I'm working with a funeral director out of Salem, Oregon. It's just part of what goes on with that.
Right.
Well, other than that, it's kind of quiet up there.
That's interesting.
When is your cemetery cleanup?
I don't have a date.
Oh, okay.
You're gone, I'm gone. Jeff is gone. They're opening up, they're working their store up in Egg Harbor.
Okay,
So it's just a matter of trying to coalesce and come up with a date.
okay.
So when we do that, I'll try to get the notice to Teresa so she can post it.
Mhm.
Jason would like to start to get his hands on what is really going on with the cemetery. There's a lot of stuff goes on there. You just haven't, you're chasing animals and invasive species, and now you wanna
Yeah,
come up to work on that a little bit, which would be good.
at least the dead people don't run.
They don't run far.
No, they don't run away like a dog.
Right.
Okay. Moving on to item number 12, broadband update.
Broadband. I got an email from Jessica Hatch today, at 8 something this morning. And it had to do with the bee challenge process. They just opened it up today. And I have not had a chance to spin through everything yet. But this is the challenge process is underway, which just began March 24th, determining the phase, how they're going to do this. I have not digested all of it at this point yet, but there's a site I can go to. She also provided me with a 20-some page document on the approval letter for the initial proposal. So I will be in contact with the ISP, and I got some more stuff from John Cook as well. Kelly Shipley, Pam Sherwood, they have my contact information for the town of Forestville. So I will be the point of contact anyway to see where we're going as we move forward in getting that done. And one of the other pieces that came into play was right-of-way permitting ordinances. When we have right-of-way, we're one of the few towns actually in the municipalities within the county that has, some right-of-way ordinance, in place. And we did that primarily for running the manure lines. And we have to maybe update that with regard to broadband. And that was some stuff that I did just get as well from Jessica a week ago. So I have not gone through that yet, but as we move forward in that particular arena, we're probably going to have to revisit some of those, right-of-way access.
Yeah,
permitting
or we
issues.
won't have any room in the right way if it will end up happening.
Well, that is the challenge.
Because I don't want everybody just, well, this is easy for me. Yeah, but now it's miserable for everybody.
Well, that's why there's so many things that we have to deal with in that regard. Not only is it utility and access for, phone lines or for fiber, for gas, for electric, I mean, there's all kinds of things in the right of way. And at some point in time, we have to make sure that what our ordinances are protecting the right of way so that we don't end up with the issues you're alluding to. So, that's the latest on the update on broadband. We did get the grant monies. We'll just set that aside because there is going to be, this money, this $15,000 or $16,000 that came in is dedicated to broadband deployment continuing. But in preparation for that, things like having contracts reviewed, right-of-way ordinances, making sure all of the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, that's where some of that money will go. So that won't go to actual deployment of fiber, but it'll go in all the preparatory things that need to be done, similar to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So, that's broadband. It continues and I'll be in contact with Jessica and all the other players as is necessary.
Sounds good. Thank you. HeyGov and website.
Yeah, HeyGov and website. We've had some issues with the website. Some of our automated services, in some of the changes, you're getting the notifications and you're being able to handle that.
Yes, correct.
You've captured these payments. They're coming into us in two different ways now. They're coming across with credit card through the Stripe system. They're also coming through the automated clearinghouse. So the last 2 or 3 payments came through the automated clearinghouse thing, which actually is faster than what happens through Stripe. So adding that feature
So
was
that $150 that we got came in today
right,
into the checking.
right. That was,
For the May 25th rental. For
yeah,
Yes.
but you just got that yesterday
yesterday, yeah.
and the money's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's faster than what happened with Stripe, I think.
No,
Is that for that one?
I think it's for the other one, that Ruth, I asked for an email and a phone, because I didn't know who it was, so he lived on County S, I think.
Oh,
Hugo or Hugo.
oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's what
Yeah,
came in
oh,
on the
okay.
9th and it came in now today. I think that's when they came in on
Well,
the 9th.
and those monies are flowing. And I'm not sure, you and I will have to go over, we have a driveway application that's coming in. The other piece of it that's happened is in, the ISP, not the ISP, Town Web changed server addresses and they were with Cloudflare and they were having some issues. It's no different than what we encountered with Rackspace. So we had to change some of the pointers in our domain network services, DNS addressing. But the Town Web couldn't do it because we are the ones that arranged it with the Department of Administration in Madison. So I had to work with Department of Administration and get them to make some changes. The net result this morning, our website was not available. And that was only for about an hour, but we still had to get it corrected. And now I'm getting a error, a redirect error. So I have to go back at it again tomorrow to see what the problem is in accessing calendaring. So it's stuff that, we'll continue to work on
Yeah, yep.
with Teresa, because you haven't, there's so many pieces of this thing that we have to get fixed up.
Right.
You're doing a wonderful job because you're posting those things, you're getting that stuff out there, it's ready to go. There's just some of these details and
Right.
we're encountering challenges from our, town web design people
Mhm.
and not necessarily. them.
Did Sam get updated? Is it
We're
Sam?
working
Well,
on
that's-
that tomorrow.
okay, we're working on
That
that
and
and
ARPA is gonna
ARPA.
get done tomorrow because,
ARPA's gotta be done by April,
30th.
no, they extended that.
but we should be good to go because we changed the address. So we were kind of on hold for 3-4 days
Right.
until they verified our address. So now we're.
Well, we got you into the ID.me, the federal identification
I'm done.
system.
Yep.
So now you can go in there with login gov,
Mhm.
and now Teresa's identified.
Right,
Unfortunately, when we first started into that world, Ruth was using the Forestville.com address.
right,
And now through the, Department of Administration, now we're forestvilletown.wi.gov.
Mhm.
And of course, that threw a monkey wrench into the works when we tried to do some of these reportings.
Mhm.
So we've got, Sam, we've got a message back from them. So I think we're in a good position
Yep.
with Sam to get that thing taken care of.
Yep, I do too.
I don't think we're gonna have a problem with that.
Tomorrow, we're just gonna go and get that done. And then I think ARPA, we're in a good position too, because we have all of our documents. We just need to
Right,
upload
and,
them.
and Ruth,
Close that
thankfully,
out.
Ruth helped us with that. Not only do we have all of our documents, but we are going to finish the expensing of that
Right.
this year.
Yes,
So that $40,000 in ARPA monies that had to be expended by the end of this calendar year
we did.
is
Gone.
gone.
Yep,
Okay.
we're at
And so
zero.
that'll disappear off
Yep.
of there, but we have to report it yet.
Right, and we have the documentation just to upload it.
Yeah. So where did we spend it? Yeah,
Yep.
we got that.
Okay.
So we'll get that
Mhm.
and you'll be, you'll be a part of that too.
That's a goal for tomorrow, to get both those
Yeah.
done, so.
So that's my website, broadband, hey gov, I'm done.
Item 14, roads and road work, basically updates. No word yet on, the grant. It has not been, delivered. I did call Thad and ask if he learned anything. He basically told me that our clerk will get an email the exact same second he gets one. So then you
Okay.
can fire that off to us. He said, usually they'll let you know if you did or didn't get it, right?
That's the funding we're looking for Old Krieger Road
Correct.
and Town Line.
Town line, Old Krieger,
To
correct.
date, we haven't received one.
Not, and he's like, they should be anytime. He said it'd be hard to believe they'd wait till the end of the month, because normally it's right now. So when it comes, it comes. Obviously, we did our road inspections. And I talked to him, then I'll be sending a list over there, based off of some of the things we did, and some of the estimates we wanna get from him to get an idea of what pricing is. So that's what we have with that.
I did notice that the dead end road sign is down on Stone Road. It's laying in the ditch. I don't know.
Which one is that?
On John's Road,
John's Road.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, yes.
you know that.
did we caught that one too, didn't
Yeah.
we? We wrote that down.
That's noted.
Okay.
Now, there was somebody who just texted me just before the meeting, I'll have to look, and said, there was a sign that, like, just moved on. I'm not even sure who it was, but it's like by a
Did you
bridge.
pick up the slow kid sign on our road?
There's no,
We couldn't find
your
that.
kids aren't that slow.
Did you take that sign?
I will pick it up.
I
I thought you were gonna drag it to your driveway.
We could not find that sign.
We did look.
We looked for that sign.
She must have brought it up to the house when we said,
There's a couple of slow kids driving a truck.
There were 3 slow guys driving the truck.
so warning sign down on South Forest Drive, just south of the culvert and east of the ditch. Narrow bridge warning sign is laying down.
Oh, on South Forest Drive.
Yep. And the stop ahead sign has heavy lean to it as well. So who knows, maybe that's from the sun or maybe the pole got junk or whatever, so.
We found some very interesting signs. Did you talk to them about the distance off? The stop ahead signs?
No, that's on my list of notes for whatever, which
Okay.
is funny because he called me today but I was in the middle of stuff, you know what I mean? It was one of those.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
whatever,
normally he's
and I-
here with us.
Yeah, cause he asked, he said, are you guys gonna be going through the road stuff? Do you want me to come there? I said, well, we got our annual meeting and then I said, that's gonna be next month, you know, before we get serious about that. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Okay.
All right, payment of bills.
Do we have some?
Yeah,
Yeah.
checks.
Oh, I
Sign
know.
those. Here are the checks to sign. I
Yeah,
don't know
well,
if you
we
want to
can
do
look
that
at 'em and
now or
sign
you
them
want to do it
Just look
later.
at 'em.
Just
So we
look
get
at
them
it.
see 'em.
okayed and then we'll
Yep.
move
So
on.
All right.
it's just normal
Stuart,
stuff.
Sign it.
Yeah.
This is your check, sign it.
Oh, you have to okay this also.
What's this one for?
That's for last month. It's got to be paid by the 29th or 28th or whatever, but I have to have Kevin do it because
We're gonna do that.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, there's another one for you. And this is,
What's
so
that?
this is a tax distribution.
Yeah, I just,
And this is another tax
Right.
distribution.
Yeah.
I don't know, this guy looks shady, I don't know, Jason. Oh, this is a good one, this is mine. So I got two,
you guys will rip it off.
so how does this work? So you get this stuff or how, what,
Oh, I see.
I just mail these in the mail then, right?
You keep that stub. I keep a stub and you keep a stub.
Oh, okay.
this is the quadrant.
So I keep this stuff
Yeah,
and then.
because you gave
okay.
me the stubs when you did them.
Actually, I have a file,
Oh, this is the
Okay.
going
this
garbage.
is yours, but I didn't have an envelope.
That's fine.
So that goes to you. That's from the town hall, she paid cash for that.
Here we
Okay.
go with this woody vegetation crap.
Yeah, I'm wondering when those come in, if they can't give us a breakdown, I'm gonna call maybe over there and ask, can you give us a breakdown of
Talk
what
to them, will
roads,
you?
what road is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
the
that you
location
know.
would be nice to know. I know it's
Just
not a
the
lot, it's
location.
not a lot of
Yeah,
money, but
just
it
tell
all
us.
adds up.
Yeah, but every month.
Yeah.
Woody vegetation, last week was like a
One
couple
is the
$1,000.
lottery
And it
one
could
is
be,
the
it could be,
invoice.
it could
If
be
I
on a
did them
county road, we're
separate.
getting
Well,
charged.
that's what I'm worried about.
Fine.
I was
Right.
gonna wait to do this.
That's my real concern, to be honest with you, is, you know, is it going where it should be going? But
Oh, this
you
is,
see on some of those things that,
In the lottery, get those over.
from the police
Yeah, so
report.
then
thingy,
these
right,
I'll
that-
send
Yeah.
out.
I looked at some
Actually do
locations on the
yesterday.
police report
I
and
go,
I'm like, it's in the
I go
middle
through
of a field
Oklahoma in the morning,
someplace.
so I'll just put them in the mail
There's really
there.
nothing there, so I checked in the.
Night.
Thanks, Gordy, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
Hey, Gordy.
Yeah.
I'll get a hold of you and we'll go take a look.
that.
I just don't wanna make it,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, gotta be careful there.
okay? So,
Okay, thank you for your time.
have a good night.
what is this? Oh, I see. Well, this was our annual contribution to the.
Yeah, they just have another reminder, so.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, yeah, this is another one of those.
these are just those to them.
Okay. I guess Dina, you didn't sign this. Oh, you got some more business sign.
I didn't sign any of them. I'm
Oh,
signing them
okay.
as they're coming
Oh,
back.
these are the cemetery committee.
Yeah, that's our annual pay plus.
Now, you said there was one, Teresa, that you needed done ahead of time? Were you able to do it without a signature?
Which one?
That Ruth said I gotta pay right away, so I paid it.
No, that
Oh,
was the that was the sanitary.
Yeah, that was, I
That
had,
was sanitary.
I received the
And then this one
invoices
here,
in the
we gotta-
mail.
I gotta do with her, cause she needs
Yeah.
social security and stuff, and then hopefully we can get set up and be done.
So now. Okay. I'm good.
Make sure
Oh,
Tina at least gets that.
Yep.
This is Larry's other one.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have three separate just because that's the way it worked out.
So there's all
Otherwise,
different.
I would try to get them all on one, but
It didn't happen.
yeah, it didn't happen
Too
that way.
many pieces of it.
I'd like, to make a motion to pay the bills as passed around and looked at.
As
Is
presented.
there, as presented, anything else on your end?
No,
The Bank of Luxembourg?
Do you wanna do this now or you wanna do this?
Sure, let's
after?
do that.
I'll second that.
Okay, but that's kind of a separate thing, right? That one is the CD.
Yes.
So I'm gonna finish the motion. So Kevin has made a motion to pay the bills as presented, and Jason has seconded that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, that will carry. Now we're gonna go through the CD that we were talking about before.
Okay, and the only comment I wanted to make was, we talked about that double payment that we had got to Carolyn Vogel. I sent her an email, have not heard a thing back.
Okay.
That was the one where we issued a refund, and then she also got the refund
On the credit
applied
card.
to her credit card.
And now we're on the no talk list.
Well, we asked her to please check, you know, every other one was right, but that one, she got her refund twice. Once in a whale check. once
We're
in a
all, we're all color coded, so I'm red.
refund.
You just figure out where you are.
Let me figure out who you are like that.
That's like that could take a while. Okay. I'll set over to Teresa. Thank you, Larry.
Put that one right there. Thank you.
Oh, there's one on the back. Who is blue?
Me. Oh, there's another one back there? Oh, do I need to date that? Do you want a date on there?
I don't know, I just dated it here, so,
Well, it says date, I mean,
yeah.
there's that many signatures to give them money? Twice as many to get it.
I think that's it.
Okay. All right, so we will move on to item number 16, all other matters authorized by law. Do we have any?
I don't know. Not that I know that needs to be taken care of tonight.
Okay.
All of you will defer this until after the meeting.
Right, because I'll show you what I got and,
Yeah, we'll go from there.
yeah. All right. Item 17, announcements. Board of review is gonna be May 16th from 4:30 to 6:30 PM.
And I believe the public notice of that has been posted on
On
the
the
website.
website, yep. And
And
it's,
out on the bulletin
yep,
board.
correct.
Okay, so that's posted. So that's a mandatory 2-hour meeting.
Correct.
Which will be recorded.
Mhm.
And you also have the objection forms for any changes. That's all out there.
Has anything come in that you're aware of?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Now, we will.
Well,
hear from-
first, April 23rd, they gotta call in and talk to him.
We're gonna talk to him first
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, they have
Then
to
after
talk
that,
open book,
yeah,
and it's after open
Yeah.
book, then
then we'll get the
Yeah.
paperwork.
All right. Okay. We'll move on to item number 18. Discussion and items intended for future meetings, which is grass cutting.
Yeah.
Is
Did we
one.
go out for bids,
How does that work?
or did we get bids, or Did we hear from whoever cut last year?
Yeah,
We had.
that's what he was asking, basically, are we gonna be looking at that? Cause I think he'll have a bid for, who's gonna have a bid for us.
Right, we might ask that too, what does the county want? You know, let's see what, next month, we could then talk about, what would the county charge for that work? What is Joe gonna put in for a bid, and then that way we look at it and we make a decision.
Sure.
There was some discussion, at the highway committee about, they were talking about a growth retirement, but that, I don't think the county's gonna pursue that. The question will be whether or not you wanna cut once a year? Or do you wanna cut twice? I guess,
Yeah,
What about the lawn here? Did we have a couple year contract with him?
Well, that's the same guy who always just cuts the lawn and nobody's gonna cut it cheaper than him.
Oh, I know, I'm just wondering, do we, I mean, I think,
we
do we,
should check with him.
Who's the guy that cuts grass here?
Dan,
Dobner.
Dan
Dobner.
Dobner.
Dan
He's been
I should
cutting
reach
it
out to him to see if he's gonna cut the grass for the
Yeah.
season.
here and at the cemeteries,
Cemeteries too?
both
Okay.
cemeteries and the town hall. We should just contact him
yeah,
Yeah.
see if he's
Okay.
gonna
and
cut,
see if
I
he
will.
can continue. He has somebody who's working with him.
oh, he does,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm not sure, you know, Dan's still cutting grass.
Well, who does the one on, right on the highway over there?
That's St. Mary's, the church,
Oh, that's a different church altogether?
on the highway.
Yeah.
That's the church on the hill.
Oh, holy,
Their
that's,
cemetery.
okay, so that's
That's
totally
theirs.
different deal?
That's
Okay.
theirs.
So he only basically cuts the rock house?
Rockhausen and Forestville Town across the street from the church.
Okay,
And the park here.
okay.
You know, he comes here and he does this, goes up there, he goes there. Periodically, if we have gophers and, or woodchucks and such down in Rockhausen, is where we have the biggest problem with them. But that community is blessed. I went down there and doesn't appear to be down there.
Right, right.
We'll find out. When we cleaned up in the fall, I didn't have the damage.
Cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, you throw it in the holes, they run in and out, before you know it, they're out.
What is that?
Cayenne pepper.
Woodchucks.
Cayenne pepper,
Mhm.
okay. We didn't have
I
woodchucks,
use
we had
steel.
little,
uh,
what are they called?
Moles or gophers? Gophers. That'd probably work for them too.
Oh, they're in the
Yeah, works
septic
in
and
holes,
everything.
yeah.
Really good smoke bomb doing it.
I use smoke bombs too, yeah.
And you know what? When they came back the following year, the carcasses were being kicked out by the new guys. Whatever. Just so you.
You gotta make room.
They got evicted.
What are we gonna do? Yeah.
All
Maybe
right.
we should charge them a room tax.
We will move on to item number 19. Next town board meeting. Regular town board meeting will be on May 20th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. We are looking for an adjournment,
I make a motion to adjourn.
and I second it. So I have a motion on the table from Jason to adjourn and a second from Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none? Meeting is over.